My name's Callum Lynch, and I'm playing young Archie, or one of the young Archies, so between sort of early 20s going up to early 30s, basically. So the show is about, it's about Cary Grant, obviously, but it's, I suppose it's trying to take a look at not only his public life, but the man behind the kind of persona that he created. And in my stuff and in the younger Archie stuff, you really see that because he's not Cary Grant at that point, he's Archie Leach. So it's really interesting. I think my journey it's been such a fun one to explore because I get to do in fact I have the scene where I say, I pick the name and everything, the new name, so I get to chart that journey from one to the other, and I suppose Jason gets to look back and you see moments of Archie kind of come back when he's Cary in his private life. But so I suppose it's about the things we do to sort of survive, and the masks we create, and how real they become. The accent was interesting because I love an accent usually, and the Bristol we'll see, but I think was fine. But it was tough working. We had this amazing dialect coach, Jamie, and I did a lot of work with him. And then the first time I sort of performed it was at the read-through, and it's the first time I'd heard Jason do it as well. So everyone's very nervous to make sure I think that they were similar enough, but also because it changes throughout his life and throughout his performances. Like in his early films, it's kind of even weirder than where it gets to in the sort of, the North by Northwest era. I think it's a funny line to tread because I think in his case, like the truth is stranger, than imaginable, really. So whether you kind of tone it up or actually pull back a bit on how bizarre it sounds in lots of his stuff, because people actually wouldn't believe that he ever talked like that. For me anyway, because he's finding his voice, finding literally the voice in his early stuff, I have quite a lot of wiggle room, so I can try different things out in certain scenes, and then it doesn't have to be fixed when I'm doing it, which is quite nice. He had a really, really difficult childhood. Obviously the death of his brother, the impact that had on his mum Elsie, and the relationship between his parents, I think, was very difficult. But the death of that brother, I think, really set the tone for the mood in the family in Bristol, and because he was smothered by his mum, but then his dad, it felt alienated by him, and I think the main thing that came through for me in Jeff's script was how lonely he was in those early years, because his mum is in such a dark place with the death of her child that she's not really connecting with him, even though she's kind of obsessed with him. And his dad, is not the figure that Archie kind of imagines that he is ultimately. It's been such a joyous part to play because so much of his life, as a young actor myself, I can relate to. I can relate to the really difficult moments when you think you're never going to get anything and try asking, please, and then when you do get stuff and what that does to you and how it changes, the way you feel about yourself and interact with the world, and I just could use so much of myself in it. Yeah, I mean, Jeff's script was like such a huge draw. He just makes it really easy for you as an actor. He does a lovely job of letting you find the character in his words, but you're never lost. There's always a clear intention, I think, throughout and character of Cary, which is the difficulty, because that's the point of the piece, I suppose, is that he's like finding out who he is. So as an actor, you might feel lost, doing something like that. But Jeff always manages to keep enough in there that there's a through line of Cary or Archie the whole time, which is great. So there's four of us. There's Dainton, who plays kind of 5 to 7-year-old Archie. Then Oakley does, I think, about 13 to 18. Then I take 20s to 30s. And then Jason, bless him, has to do from 40 all the way up to 85. So he doesn't believe this, but when I first got the meeting through, my girlfriend and I were at home like trying to fan cast Cary Grant, and he was the only person I came up with. I was like, I think Jason Isaacs is the only person I can imagine. I've told him, and he clearly thinks I'm lying, but it's true. So I already, from having seen his work, thought he had the vulnerability and the charm and the slight darkness that you would need to fully inhabit that character. I think he did almost all of an evening with Cary Grant scenes in 2 days, and just how relaxed he is. I think just before we start doing a take, how playful he is, which is what acting is, really. If you know Cary Grant's work, you'll get loads from it, because you'll see a side of him that you've never seen before, as well as you know, the transition into things that you do know about Cary Grant, or you think you know. If you don't know him, just as a character study of someone who's gone from a really, really difficult beginning in life to what seems like the perfect life, to see what that does to someone and their interior life and their relationships, I think is beyond fascinating.